What's the definition of luxury? Let's dive right in and I'll explain my concept for it to you. So, my concept. I understand this whole thing as a market pyramid where luxury is the top of the pyramid. Luxury is the pinnacle of this pyramid, this market pyramid. And underneath is premium, and at the bottom we have the mass market. That's what all of you know. And I want to show the differences between those three steps in the pyramid. And also, just at the beginning, I want to say premium is not luxury. Most people confuse these two. They are so confused by what's premium, what's luxury, and I want to explain that today in this video. So pay attention. So, let me explain this concept with this pyramid with the help of car brands that everybody knows. So, the mass market. The mass market are these cars that you know, the Toyotas, the Fords, the Mitsubishis, the Fiats, the VWs, I don't know, the Seats, the Chevys, whatever you know. Those are the low price, cheap cars that you know and see the most on the streets. You see the most in the dealerships. Those are the cheapest. Those are the ones with the offer tax on it and that gets sold again and again on the second hand marketplace. And you can drive for 300,000 miles and they still work. They have right about okay quality, they do their job really well, and they are just such a good deal. And everybody can buy them. They are not expensive or not crazy expensive. You still have to have some money saved up, but you can afford those cars really, really quickly. So, why do you buy mass market? Because you want something really affordable for a good price and you want to have something reliable that you can use, that you can abuse even, and you don't feel bad about it. You can also think of the example of buying water at the grocery store. A cheap water does the job. If you're in need of some hydration, you just buy the cheap water. It doesn't matter the brand, the branding, the mission behind the brand, or whatever. You just buy it because it does its job. That's mass market. Now, let's move on to the premium market. What's different here? These are your BMWs, Alfa Romeos, Audis, Mercedes, whatever you know. Those cars that cost between maybe 50 grand to 100 grand, maybe even sometimes 150 grand. Those are the medium to high priced cars. They are good quality and they are packed with features. They do the same job of getting you from A to B, but better and more luxurious, more comfortable. And they still have a lot of value in the resale market, but they drop value immensely when you step into the car. And now, what's different? They are not a great deal anymore, they are just a good deal. Some storytelling comes into the marketing, some more feature reliable marketing gets done, and less about use this car if it gets the job done. So it's more like you have ventilated seats or you have a head up display now or just all those features. If they are marketed, you're most probably in the premium market for cars. They are sold on good quality and features, and there are less people in this market, of course, because we are moving up the pyramid. That's why it's a pyramid. At the mass market, at the lowest level, you have the most people there. And then when you move up slowly through the pyramid, it gets denser and denser with the money, but there are way less people actually in the market for those cars. So Toyota is selling the most cars in the world right now every single year because they are so cheap, so reliable, but they are not selling their features. They are not selling those things. They are selling a reliable car that just does its job. So, premium market, again to repeat, they are sold on quality and features. If a brand that you know, also in other markets, in other branches, in other industries, if they are selling you the quality and the problem that it solves and the features, you are in the premium market. Don't confuse it with luxury. Even if it looks good, it doesn't mean that it's luxury. We get to luxury right now. So, now, luxury, finally. These are your Ferraris, Bugattis, Paganis, Koenigseggs, Lamborghinis, all those car brands that you know and see on social media and Instagram, in your reels, wherever you are looking, you see those cars and they are praised. But have you noticed? They are not sold on quality, not sold on features. I bet you haven't seen a Ferrari ad where it said, wow, the new gas pedal is so good, or wow, our side mirrors are so much smaller now, or wow, we have a head up display now. You have never seen such a thing. Luxury marketing depends on storytelling. Luxury products are sold on emotion, storytelling, heritage, craftsmanship, values, connection. This connection, this this connection from you to the brand as the consumer to the brand that owns this asset that it wants to sell you. And the quality is the standard that is set. Like the premium from the premium level in the marketing pyramid, that's the standard for luxury. You have to meet those standards or be even above them, but you just don't talk about them because they are imagined as the basics, the standard. If you don't even meet that, you're not in the luxury. But it's just like, oh yeah, they for sure have this much quality. What makes them exceptional now? As I said, we're at the top of the pyramid now. So, really small market, but high funds available in this small market. And the prices are really high to immensely high. And Ferrari might be not such a good example because they have some cars that are in the premium price category but are marketed as luxury and sold secondhand. But for example, Bugatti only has luxury and really high luxury cars. They go from 3 million and up. You don't get a cheaper Bugatti. It just doesn't work like that. And if you compare that to a Toyota, it gets the same job done, but it gives you a way of status, of emotion. You want to feel the craftsmanship and the values behind it, the power, and how this story is delivered to you. That's luxury marketing. And I find that personally completely fascinating. And that's why I'm building my brand, VT, also in the luxury space, because I find this way of marketing so much more appealing than the premium problem solving, feature selling kind of marketing. In the luxury world, it's all about world building, embracing the differences, and going for this greatness, the exceptionalism, and actually putting a main focus on storytelling. So now, for the end, I have some comparisons just to round this out. There are margin differences. If you compare a Bugatti, it's highly expensive to produce, but it's sold for an even bigger spread of a price. So let's say a Bugatti to produce costs 500 grand to a million, but if it's sold for 3 million, you have a margin of 2 million. A Toyota gets produced for 10 grand and sold for 15 grand. The margins are really low in comparison. But you have a so much bigger audience and market around the world that could buy this Toyota that it levels out again. It's a trade off. Same for market size. As I said, margin and market size are just balancing each other out. But in the middle is the hardest. Premium is the hardest market to compete at because you have to find an exact balance and then go lower with your price to beat the other people. So in the end, you're doing a price race again to the bottom, and then you start competing with the mass market on the prices, but try to sell something even more valuable, which creates this confusion afterwards. So luxury just differentiates itself completely from that, and that's what makes it fascinating for me. There are difficulties and challenges on all these different levels, no matter what. But I personally find luxury the most fascinating, and I'm going for luxury personally because I love it. I love the world building. I want to do this, and I recommend it to you too. And I hope you like this video, and I will see you next time.